Meetings in person are easier than video calls if English is your second language. Don't worry, you're in good hands. We're going to go through every single possible scenario in a video call. This is going to be a really big masterclass. I'll put the timestamps. You can skip to the moment that you want of this video down below. But we're going to go through what to say in different situations with different formalities of video calls in business English. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Melissa B. Duarte. I'm the author of the Global Business English Mastery Series. I write books on business English. I do videos on business English. I teach courses on business English. You're in good hands. Let's dive right in. I've had so many videos that I've created on formality and what level of formality to use in business English, because a lot of students don't really know how to navigate this. Number one tip is you don't want to be overly formal. You'll sound old and out of touch. You're not going to impress anybody. You don't want to sound overly informal. You'll sound like you don't have experience, or you're a little bit out of touch or unprofessional. You really want a mix of the two. That's the sweet spot in business English. Really, truly, mix formal words with informal words. I'm not talking change your vocabulary. Mix the two together. That is a perfect balance of business English. This is what we use. This is what you need to do. Anyways, so if someone's inviting you to a meeting, or you're inviting someone to a meeting, or I'm going to give you a bit more phrases here that you can use with different levels of formality. So do you have 10 minutes this week to talk it through? This is quite formal or semi-formal. Do you have 10 minutes this week to jump on a call? Do you have 10 minutes this week? And by giving people the time, 10 minutes, well, who doesn't have 10 minutes, right? If you need people to say yes to your invite, and it's going to be short and it's 10 minutes, if it goes to 15, fine, but they'll appreciate it if you actually stay on time. Tell them how long it's going to be. If you say, do you have, are you available for a quick call this week? Quick call means under 45 minutes, under half an hour, but it's vague. Do you have 10 minutes this week to talk it through? Wow. 10 minutes, who doesn't? So people will be a lot more open to your invite if you actually give them the time, and the time is so short as in 10 minutes. And again, to talk it through, you can talk over something. Imagine a mountain. You're going to talk over it. Okay, so you're discussing every single part of it. Very important. It means you're talking in depth. If you talk through something, it's like you're tunneling through a mountain. You are really going through each detail. So to talk over it means we're going to cover everything. To talk through it, we're going to dive deep into each detail. So depending on what you want, this is what you say. A little bit more informal and quite informal. Can we hop on a quick call to align? And align just means we're going to get in the same road. We're going to get in the same route, be on the same page. On the same page, I'm going to put this vocabulary for you down below. It means we have the same opinion and understanding of something. So can we hop on a quick call? And hop, like a rabbit hops. Hop means to jump. And you can say, can we jump on a quick call? Can we jump on a call? Can we hop on a call? It just means quickly. It just means quickly. It's fantastic. Another one you can say is, let's set up a call, make sure we're on the same page. Let's set up a call to make sure we're on the same page. This is quite formal or semi-formal, but it's still beautiful language. And let's is not, would you be so kind? Would it fit your schedule? You don't want to be overly formal that way. People don't speak that way. You're still being very polite, saying, let's set up a call to make sure we're on the same page. Let's set up a call to align. Or if you really do need to invite someone and you want to appreciate the fact that they're busy, you want to use squeeze in. Squeeze in is a phrasal verb meaning to fit something in. So could we squeeze in a quick call this week? Could we squeeze in a meeting this week? And squeeze in means, I know your schedule is full. You have no time. But if we can just squeeze it in, and squeeze is like a lemon. You're going to squeeze a lemon to get the lemon juice out. If an elevator holds 8 people and you're the 9th, you have to squeeze in. So by saying this, you're going to appreciate the fact that they are busy. They don't have time in their schedule. So squeeze in is good. Another one that's a little bit more neutral and friendly. If someone's inviting you to join a call, it's sure. What time works good for you? Or looking forward to it. What day time works good for you? Or sounds good. When were you thinking? Sounds good means this works perfectly for me. Sounds good. This is fine. I like this idea. It works good for me. So when were you thinking? And when were you thinking just means what day, what time. Or I'm in. What's your availability? And I'm in means I'm on board. It means yes, 100%, I will be there. I'm in. And a little bit more professional, but not overly formal, because I don't want to teach you overly formal English. It's not the right tone to have. Is I'm happy to be on the call with you. Can you send over a few more options? Can you send over the details? Can you send over your time or day options? So yes, I'm happy to join you. Yes, I'm happy to join this meeting. Can you send over a few options for day or time? Or that works for me. What time slots suit you the best? Or absolutely, I'm pretty busy, but I'm open Thursday, Friday. Are there any times there that work well for you? If you're the one arranging the meeting, you can say, would you be open to a quick call sometime this week? Or let's jump on a quick call to go over it. Notice how I say quick 2 times. If your meeting is going to be under 45 minutes, tell people by using the word quick. And this just means they don't have to block off an hour and a half or 2 hours or half of their morning or half of their afternoon. People, if you're worried about people not wanting to attend your video call, if you are the one arranging it, quick is huge. Quick really has a lot of weight to it. There's psychology with words. Let's jump on a quick call to go over this. Great. The person's going to say, yep, no problem. When you say quick call, a quick video call, can we meet quickly? Can we have a quick call next week? Can we have a quick call this week to discuss XYZ? If you say quick, people will say, okay, yeah, this is going to be an efficient call. This is not going to take up so much time. We spend so much of our time in meetings, and so much of the meetings are just talk, and nothing's happening, and nothing's being done, and no one likes meetings. I mean, we're all stuck in meetings all the time. So if you say quick, people will be a lot more receptive, a lot more open to your invite. This is a really good one. Or even, how about we set up a call to go through XYZ? So if there is an issue you need to discuss with a client, a supplier, a subordinate, your counterpart, or a team member in a different location, whatever the case may be, and if there's a situation you need to discuss, you need to meet, how about we set up a quick call to go over it or to go through it? And to go over something means to discuss something. To go through something means you're going to discuss it like as if you're digging through a mountain. You're going to discuss it in detail. You're not going to leave anything untouched, and you're going to go through things deeply. So how about we set up a quick call to go through it? And this is going to be quick, fast, under 45 minutes. How about we set up a call to go through it? And this could be a big call. This could be a 1-2 hour call. Doesn't matter. So other things you can say here is, let's set up a quick call this week. It's going to be a quick one. Could we squeeze in a quick call this week? And if we say squeeze, think about a lemon, and you're going to squeeze a lemon, get the juice out. Well, if you can squeeze in a quick call, could we squeeze in a quick call this week? It means I know your schedule is full. I know you don't have time for a meeting. I know you're busy. So you're really appreciating the fact that people are busy. But if you say, let's squeeze in, I mean, imagine going in an elevator, and the elevator holds 10 people and you're the 11th. You're going to squeeze in there. It just means fit in. Could we fit in a meeting? Could we squeeze in a meeting this week to discuss XYZ, or a quick call this week? And people are a lot more receptive to this if you do acknowledge how busy they are. So squeeze in by saying, can you squeeze in a video call this week? Can you squeeze in a call this week? By saying squeeze in, it means I know you're busy. I know you don't have time, but I'd really appreciate it. So that works very well. And again, saying quick, people are a lot more open to a video call that's under 45 minutes. Now, if you are being invited to a meeting, someone's asking you to join a meeting, I mean, happy to connect. Happy to connect. What days and times work for you? Or happy to go over this with you. I'm open to your schedule. So this is fantastic. Or sorry, I don't have time this week. Please just send me a recording of the meeting if you can't attend it. Okay, so you've already arranged the call. And sometimes when we arrange the call, we already set a time and a date. And I'm going to go through rearranging a time and a date in a second. But right now, if you do arrange a call, but you have not set the time or date, this is how you set the time or date. So you can say, can we lock in a time for our call? Can we lock in a day and time, or just a day for our call? And lock in is like you're locking your door. You're securing a day or time for someone's call. Or you can say, does Tuesday at 4 work for you? How about Tuesday at 4? So this is when there's back and forth in scheduling. This is what you say. And someone comes back, no, I'm busy Tuesday at 4. Okay, would Wednesday suit you better? Sure, Wednesday, anytime after 4 o'clock is fine for me. So people can go back and forth that way. A little bit would be if you want to be a bit open and neutral. You've already arranged that you need to have this video call. You need to have this meeting. So are you free to chat on Friday? And the response could be, yes, Friday works great for me, anytime after 2. Fantastic. I'll send over an invite in a bit. So this is very easy, simple language, but you're just making sure you're communicating with them in a polite way and setting up the tone for the video call. A little bit more professional. Can we lock something in for today? Can we put something down in our calendars for today? Can we secure this meeting today? And by today means even if the meeting is next week, but today or before the end of the week, by EOD, end of day, EOW, end of week. Can we lock in a time for this by EOW, which means You wouldn't say EOW, but you write EOW. Some acronyms you can say, some you can't, and you can't say EOD, EOW, EOM. You can't say, but you can write them. Of course, they're fantastic. Or do we have a slot open on Friday at this time, or in the afternoon on Wednesday? So you're just kind of sending it out there for people to kind of get back with their schedule when they are available. Now, when it comes to meetings, you've invited someone to the meeting, they're coming, or someone's invited you to the meeting, you're going to attend. Now you've secured the time. Fantastic. Things come up. Things happen. Things happen. Come up means something comes, something happens, and you're not expecting it. So when things come up and you need to reschedule, now send a message. Would it be possible to move our meeting? You don't have to tell people why, unless maybe you're meeting with someone who's very busy, who maybe did squeeze you in, who moved things around to fit you in. Then maybe you should explain why you're asking to reschedule the meeting. But if not, just say, will it be possible to move our meeting? Something's come up. Can we reschedule? Can we push our meeting back an hour? Can we push our meeting ahead an hour? Now, push our meeting back. Some people get confused with this. If I'm pushing a meeting back, it means it's later. So can we push the meeting an hour back? So we've scheduled a meeting for 2 o'clock on Tuesday. Can we push it back an hour? Which means I want to meet, instead of 2, let's meet at 3. Or I have to leave early on Tuesday. Can we push our meeting forward? Forward would be 1 hour earlier. A lot of students ask me this one, so that's why I want to make sure I brought it up to you there. So push it back. Can we push our meeting back an hour? Can we bring our meeting forward or push our meeting forward an hour? And letting people know why. If you feel you need to, let them know why. Otherwise, don't worry about it. You don't have to. Or, sorry for the change of meeting. What time works better for you? These are my openings. And that's a very nice way to say, listen, I appreciate the fact that we locked this in. Something's changed in my schedule. What works good for you now? And again, can we shift the call to tomorrow? Any chance we could move it to next week? Any chance we could move it to later in the day? Could we do this later in the day? So just if you're messaging back and forth and sending quick little Slack or team messages or emails, this is perfect. You tell people, I can't attend, something's come up. Can we move it to later today? Can we shift the call till tomorrow? Any chance we could do it next week? It doesn't hurt to ask. If they come back and say no, so sorry, I can't be there. Please send me the recording. Please send me the minutes. Please send me the update after the meeting, which is fine. Another thing, if you want to be a little bit more professional, a little bit more conservative, and if people have arranged to come to your meeting, I mean, they have blocked off time in their precious schedules. People are so busy. So you should be a little bit more apologetic. Apologies, I need to move our call. Can we find another time this day or this week? And I don't like to send messages that are so vague and open. Tell them, unfortunately, I need to move our call. Can we find another time next week? So at least people will respond with, no problem, I'm good on this day. So at least you're not going to be going back and forth for the next, I don't know how many days or hours, trying to find everyone's availability. At least by asking that, can we find another time, people will respond with, no problem, I'm open these days, in the afternoon, in the morning, between these hours. And then at least you're going to have a wave of emails coming back to you with information so you can organize and arrange the next one. Okay, you're late, or you're going to be late for a video call. We've all been there. It's awful. We know it's not professional. It's embarrassing. You feel awful, but these things happen sometimes for whatever reason. You're going to be late for a video call. So what do? What do you say? How do you make this still professional, where you still have credibility and people still appreciate working with you and appreciate you? Well, first things first, give them a heads up. A heads up means advanced warning. Don't just arrive late to a call ever, unless all the power means electricity, is out in your city. At least if you're going to be late for a call, you probably do have your phone, or you probably do have some connection, or whatever, or you can actually use actual physical phone. If you're able to, give people advance warning. Don't ever show up late to a meeting, ever. If you're able to give them warning, give them warning. This is just common courtesy, but some people don't realize this, do this. So if you are running late, and running late means I'm running to be on time. It's a very powerful word, running late. If you are running late, give them a heads up. Send a message to one person or multiple people or the group chat saying, apologies, I'm running a few minutes behind. Apologies, I'll be a few minutes late. Now I hear a lot of students say, can you wait a sec? Or I'll be a sec late, or can you wait a minute? I'll be a minute late. If you say, can you wait a sec? This means under a minute. If you say, can you wait a minute? This kind of means like a minute up to maybe 4 minutes. So just so you know, sometimes students will say to me, can you wait a minute, Melissa? I'm like, yeah, no problem. And then 10 seconds, they're back. I'm like, oh, that's not a minute. That's not a minute. So make sure you know that. Make sure you know that. So if you're going to be running late, let them know. I'm running a few minutes behind. I'm running 5 minutes behind. I'm running 10 minutes behind. You don't have to tell them why, but just let them know you're running behind. And again, by saying, you could say, apologies, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. That's just a fact. But if you say I'm running behind, it means I'm busy doing something and trying to get there. Again, there's a lot of psychology in words. This is a lot better to say I'm running behind than I'm going to be late or I'm late. Running behind is 100% better in all formalities, all situations. Next one, just a heads up, I might be 3 minutes late. I might be 10 minutes late. If you have an approximation of how late you're going to be, just a heads up, I might be however much time late. And might means maybe. So there's still a good chance you can be there on time, right? I mean, you never know if you reboot your system, if you have a problem with your internet, if you have a problem with your computer, something's happening, you're late to get to your office, whatever the case may be. Just a heads up, I might be 5 minutes late. And this is so nice. Okay, so you've already given people advance warning that you're going to be late. Now you're logging in. Now you're joining the video call. Thanks everyone so much for waiting for me. Apologies everyone for running late. Can someone bring me up to speed? And bring someone up to speed means from the moment you've started the video call to this moment, what's happened. And so someone will say, oh yeah, we covered point A and B of the agenda. Fantastic, thank you. So you actually know where you're at with it. And again, you can apologize, which is totally fine. I tend to tell students to say, avoid saying I'm sorry too much. I'm sorry is quite a weak word, and just say apologies. And apologies it means the same thing. It's just as heartfelt. It's just as nice and polite and professional as I'm sorry. Actually, no, it's more professional than saying I'm sorry. I'm sorry is a little bit weak. So avoid saying I'm sorry and just say apologies for the delay. Thank you all so much for waiting for me. I really appreciate it. I tried to get here on time. And if you want, again, you can tell them apologies for running late. I've had computer issues all day. I got pulled into a meeting. And you can tell them why you were late if you feel you need to. Otherwise, just say, thank you so much for waiting. I'm here now. Can someone bring me up to speed? Or just go ahead without me. I'll bring myself up to speed. Okay, so now you're on the video call. Whether or not you were late, you're in the video call now. So now you need to greet everybody. So if you know everyone there, you can just say, so great to see you all again. Hi, everyone. Great to see you all. And you know everyone who's there. Or, hey, everyone, good to see you. Hi, all. Hope you're all doing great. Hope your week's going well so far. Morning, everyone. Hope you're having a good start to the day. Hey, team, thanks so much for joining if you're the one inviting them to it. And if you don't know the people, or they're a mix of people you know and don't know. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. Hope everyone's day is going well so far. These are really nice and open and set a really nice positive tone to the video call. A couple more options here is, hi, everyone. Thanks so much for making the time today to meet with me. If you did arrange this, you're appreciating the fact that they squeezed you in, that they made time to meet with you. Or, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. Thanks so much for hopping on. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks so much for being here. It's a bit more formal. If it's a reoccurring call, so you have a town hall every week, or you have something every month or every quarter, budget meeting, whatever the case may be, great to see everyone again. How have you all been? How have you all been? Whenever we use the present perfect, we're talking about from the past until now. So if you're meeting with people that you meet with them once a week, once a month, once a quarter, once a year, if you say, how have you all been? You want to know what's new in their lives, in their work lives, with their situation, their work, whatever they're doing, from the last time you saw them until now. So how have you all been? Most people just respond great, or Jim's got a promotion, or we painted our office, or I'm transferring to the Boston office. So people will often, if you're quite close with them, fill you in on what they're doing. So this is a really nice way to start there. Or if you do have a mix of people, you can say, great to see some new and old faces here. So new faces, old faces. Great to see some new and old faces here. Hope everyone's doing great. I won't take up too much time with small talk. We're going to jump into whatever the topic of the meeting is very shortly. Sometimes you're waiting for people to join, and that's a little bit different. We'll cover that in a second. And again, if you are meeting with a mix of people who are people you know and people you don't know, oh, nice to see some familiar faces here and a few new ones. Looking forward to seeing you guys today. Great mix of people here. Looking forward to get everyone's input. Mix of people could be from different cultures, from different departments, from different areas of the business, and that's quite nice also. Now, when you're waiting for people to join, this is really tricky. Some people are just kind of sitting around hoping someone has a cat in the background. that they can, break the ice and have a conversation about. So you can say, let's give it a minute to wait for everyone to join in. Let's give it a minute. Give it, the situation, a minute for everyone to log in. So at this point, most people turn off their videos or they turn off their microphone, or some people do, engage in a little bit of small talk, which I will cover next. Or if you've given it a minute, it means you've waited a minute for people to join, and still some people are not just there. Okay, well, let's just give it one more minute and then we'll kick off. Let's get started in 1 minute. So at least you're letting people know that, go ahead and reheat your coffee. We're going to start the meeting in 1 minute. We'll wait a little bit for people to join. The last one here is, and this is a little bit informal, but it does work in most situations. Let's just hang tight for a moment while everyone joins. And hang tight is a synonym for wait. And hang tight just means, let's just sit in the situation we're in and just be patient and wait. Let's hang tight for 30 seconds, for 1 minute, and wait for everyone to join. Okay, small talk. No, you can't avoid it just because it's video call. I know so many students hate small talk. It's hard to do in a different language, but you still need it in a video call. So whether you're the host of the meeting or you're just an attendee of the meeting, if it's your turn to speak, you can just say, how's everyone's day going so far? And you're not really asking them. If there's a lot of people, like let's say the video call has 20 people, 50 people on it. How's everyone's day going so far? I hope everyone's having a good day. How is everyone today? It's just kind of a rhetorical question. You're just saying it as a nicety, as a nice way to introduce what you're going to be talking about next and introduce yourself. So it's just very, very polite and very nice to say. Now, if it's a smaller meeting, maybe 3 people, 2 people, 4 people, oh, how's your day going so far today? Or how's your week treating you so far? Or is everyone having a good day? And this, you probably will get a response, yeah, day's going so far quite well, or can't complain, or same old, same old. And so people can respond with what's happening in their day. But this is a really nice way to appreciate the fact that they're there and you're asking about them. And again, it's kind of rhetorical if it's a big team, but it's still go through the motions of the small talk. It is important in business English. It makes people feel like you care about them and you want to connect. And business without connection is not good business. So that human element is really big, and that's where small talk comes in. When it is a small group, you will be getting a lot more responses from people to these questions. And again, you can say to one person, if it's just 2 people, oh, hey, Bob, I haven't seen you for a while. How has your week been? Have you been pretty busy so far? So Bob will respond. And you, Mary, same thing for you guys in your office. So you can really make them personal conversations, and that's fantastic. If it's less than 5 people who you know really well, then you can kind of get personal. You can say, is it just me, or is this week flown by? Is it just me, or are we having a lot of issues with this new software? Or I hope it's not too early or late where you guys are, and you're appreciating the fact that people are calling in from different time zones. That's really nice. Another one would be, how's your week treating you? How's your month treating you? How's this project treating you? How's your new department treating you? So treating you just means, how is everything going? How is your department? How is your life? How is the change? How is your work? But by saying treating you as if it's taking care of you, and that's a really nice thing to say in English. And if you're really close to people, are you surviving this week? Or it's been a hard week surviving? No. Or if there's been a lot of changes or upheaval or a lot of difficult deadlines in your company, you can appreciate that, but only with very close people. Okay, so it will not be a video call unless one person has a technical issue. It just always happens. It always happens. So I would always even just check to make sure people can hear me okay. So if I'm logging in, everything's fine with my system, everything's fine with my connection, everything's fine with my equipment. Can you all hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? And at least you're getting this out of the way. Oh yeah, we can hear you fine. Good, nothing to worry about. Tick that off the list. So this is very nice if you are starting, or again, maybe if you're not starting the meeting, but you're starting to speak. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, we can hear you fine. At least they'll let you know. And that's really important. Or this happens so often in big meetings, lots of people are going to press mute. They're going to be doing other things, taking notes, whatever the case may be, on their phones or typing away, and they'll be on mute. So sometimes we forget to unmute ourselves. So looks like you're on mute there, Gary. Can you just click that off? And it's a nice way to say, if you were to say, Gary, you're on mute, you're kind of talking down to Gary, making him feel like an idiot. So it looks like you're on mute, Gary, or I think perhaps you could be on mute. And by being a little bit softer, a little bit roundabout with saying, you're on mute, Gary, it's a lot more polite. And Gary's like, oh, sorry, no problem. I'm off now. Or, and this is quite important. Now, there are audio issues, again, you want to make sure everyone can hear you. Can everyone hear me clearly? Can everyone hear me okay? Now, when it comes to a video meeting, unless you're really presenting something or you're presenting a document or something, audio is the most important, far more important than video. So if someone's audio is not stable, you need to let them know. I mean, what's the point of a meeting if the audio is not stable? So sorry, I missed that. Can you say that again? If someone repeats something again to you, and this is not about English or language, I'll go into that next, but this is about the audio chopping, cutting, just like a carrot and a knife, right? So if the audio is cutting out, if the audio is choppy, let them know. So sorry, I missed that. Can you say that again? And go, yeah, okay, it's a problem with their audio. You're kind of saying that to double check that it's their audio, and you're cutting out a bit there, Jean. Can you repeat that? Can you go over that? Your audio is breaking up a little bit, or can you maybe unplug your headphones and just use your computer's audio? We're having some issues. It's crackling a little bit. Some people don't know what they sound like, right? I mean, when do you hear yourself through your microphone? You don't. Other people do. So this is pretty important. Or I think your mic's cutting off, maybe try refreshing. Can you join the meeting? Come back on the meeting. Or again, I mean, this is not even about English. I find if people unplug their headset and use their computer audio, the audio isn't good, but at least it's clear. I find a lot of headsets or earbuds can have issues with them. So you just disconnect that and use your computer audio, and that usually works pretty well. Now, video, again, is not as important as audio, but of course you're meeting, you're meeting and you want video there. So you're frozen. Can you try reloading your page? Or you're a little bit pixelated. Can you try refreshing the page? Or I missed that. Can you say that again? And if this is their video and their audio is not synced, so they're speaking, but their mouth is not moving at the same time. So I missed that. Can you say that again? So you're just double checking that things are working well. So your internet seems a little bit patchy. Maybe turn off your video to up your strength. Now, a patch is like if you're a little child and you were running with your jeans and you fell on your knee and you scraped the knee of your jeans. Your mom would sew a patch on the knee. It's like a little piece of fabric on top of that hole of the knee of your jeans. Well, this is what patchy means when we talk about internet connection. Patchy, good parts, bad parts, good parts, bad parts. So if someone's internet is good and then it's bad, and then it's good and it's bad, your internet's a bit patchy. And usually, 80% of the time, if people turn off their video, it really ups their signal. Up means improve. It ups their signal. So your video is a little patchy, or you're coming through a little patchy. Your audio is a little choppy. You mind turning off your video just to up your signal, and that's a fantastic one. Okay, introductions. Sometimes people skip introductions, and you really should not skip introductions unless you know every single person. If these are people you meet with all the time, if you know every single person's face and name, skip this. Go to the bottom of the video and skip to the next part. You don't need this. But if you are new and you don't know everyone, or some people who you're speaking with are new, you do need to introduce yourself. So there's a couple different situations here. First of all, if it's a mix of old and new people, you can say, if we haven't met everyone yet, or if I haven't met everyone yet, or if we haven't all met yet, I'm Melissa and I handle project A. So you're saying, if we haven't met yet, if some of you I know, some of you I don't. My name's Melissa, or I'm Melissa. This is what I handle. I handle this. And that's a very nice way if it's a mix of people. Another option would be, hi, everyone. Good to see some old and new faces here. If you don't know me, I'm Melissa. I work on Project B, or I handle marketing. Or a quick intro from my side. I'm Melissa, and I'm working in the IT department. So you can just say, quick intro from my side. Or for those who haven't met yet, I'm Melissa. I'm responsible for the budget for this quarter. I'm responsible for the budget on this project. So you're just letting people know my name. Maybe you've seen them once before, but who remembers names? I don't. So people would appreciate if you say your name again and say what you do. And it's very, very helpful and very nice. And again, when it's a video call, someone's name will be there, but maybe they don't know where you work, who you work with. Maybe they don't know how to pronounce your name, right? We work on global teams. So it's really nice to have someone introduce themselves. Even if I can read your name, well, it's still nice to hear you introduce yourself. It's quite nice. Now, if the group is mostly new people, this is a little bit different. And this is, no one likes this, but let's go around quickly and introduce ourselves. Everyone hates this. Let's go around quickly and introduce ourselves. Well, you do need this if they're new people. You need to know who people are. You need to know what they're responsible for. This is important. And it just sets a tone of camaraderie. It sets a tone of professionalism and kindness and forming a group. So this is quite important. And again, when it's your turn, I'm Melissa. I handle this. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. So when it's your turn, to keep it short and simple, that's beautiful. Now, for all situations, if you're going to start introducing yourself to people, you introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Melissa. I handle marketing. That's it. Now, if you're speaking and then you have to pass the floor. The floor is the time for speaking and the space for speaking. If you don't know that, that's what the floor means. If you're speaking, you need to pass it on to someone else. It's so nice to say, okay, now it's over to Tim who handles the budget. And so at least you're finished what you're saying and you know Tim's coming up next. You have the agenda in front of you. So now over to Tim, he'll be talking about this. Now over to Tim, he deals with this. He handles this. So you're introducing the next speaker to everyone else in the video call. And that's so polite and that's so nice. Do that for people. It's just so kind. And it really sets a tone of professionalism. Like, you know the agenda, you know who people are, and you know what's happening. On the flip side, if someone does not introduce you, that's totally fine. And I'll say, so someone says, okay, over to Melissa now. Okay, hi everyone, Melissa, if you don't know me, and again, I handle this. Or a quick intro from my side and just bring them up to speed. Again, bring them up to speed is tell people the information they don't know on what you do. Okay, next one, giving input. Why do you meet? Like, why are you even having this video call? To share information, to share ideas, and to have a discussion. So giving your input is going to come into play, and this is very important. So sometimes students are quite nervous to jump in and join a conversation. Well, there's different ways you can jump into a conversation and give your input. So if someone's already speaking about a certain topic or point, whatever the case may be, on our budget timelines, and if someone's talking about one topic and you have something to add to it, you'll just say, just to add to what Mary was saying, and then say what you want to say. Or that's a great point, I'd like to build on that. And so someone makes a good point about budget constraints in the next quarter. That's a good point, I'd like to build on that. So this is going to be something that's an ongoing issue for us, so you want to build on it. You don't want to just, if you add to something, you add a detail. If you want to build onto something, you're going to add a detail, and that detail is going to get bigger and bigger. You're kind of introducing not just one item, that's add to it. But if you're going to build on something, you're really going to dive a bit deeper and expand on that thought or idea. That's a really important one. Or if someone's speaking, I totally agree, I'd also like to add this. Or I'd like to add one quick thing here. Or I just need to jump in for a second. I think you have that date wrong, or the timeline's wrong. Perhaps I have the date wrong, but it looks like you're talking about May. My understanding is this is a March launch. So you can, if you need to jump in to correct someone or to confirm something, that's what you say. Can I just jump in for a second? Or it seems that this could be wrong. I seem to have different numbers than you. And that's a really great way to make sure everyone's on the same page. On the same page, if you don't know, is meaning you're in agreement, you're in understanding, you have the same opinion about something. Now, if you don't agree with someone, or you need to offer insight, which means they don't understand your market, they don't understand your department, they don't understand your team, or you disagree, this is how you do it. So first of all, you can say, "This is everyone. Thank you so much for your input. This seems like it's really working in your market. This is what we're seeing in our market." So this just means, obviously, this product or this launch or this procedure, this policy works really well in your market. Here's what we're seeing in our market. Here's what we're seeing on our side, and you're going to offer contrasting information, a contrasting insight or opinion. Or if I can, I'd like to jump in with a different angle. If I may, I need to jump in with a different angle. I'd like to jump in with a different angle here. So if you don't agree with what someone's saying, oh, we have a great budget this quarter. This is what we're seeing on our side. Our budget looks good, but we already have funds allocated here, here, here. Or our budget looks great. Let's invest a lot into R&D. I'd like to offer another angle. We did allocate some money for this. So offering another angle. This is what we're seeing on our side. These are really beautiful, right in the middle. They're not formal. They're not informal. They're just kind of semi-formal and neutral terms you could say when you don't agree with someone, and you need to show them what's happening on your side and how things are different in your team, in your department, in your field, in your location, whatever the case may be. Or I see things a bit differently, or our team sees things a bit differently. Or I see your point, but from our side, this is what we're seeing. I see your point, but from our side, this is how I think things should be working. Or I need to flag something here. And flag is like, whoop, a red flag. If someone says something that is categorically wrong, I need to flag this here. You're talking about last year's figures. We're talking about this year's figures. I need to flag something here. We're not working with that supplier anymore. We're working with this supplier. So that's a great way to stop someone, to make some corrections if you don't agree with what they're saying. And then when you need to give your input, I just want to add to that. I want to build on that. I agree, but I'd like to expand on that a little bit. Or I'd like to jump in with one quick thing here. So you're giving your input, And by saying quick, just like I said at the beginning of the video, quick people know that you're not going to be speaking for a long time. They'll be very open to your input as well. Okay, asking for clarification and repetition in a video call. This is really important to do because you want to ask for clarification or repetition and still sound advanced or intermediate in English. You still want to sound professional. You still want to sound that you understand what's happening, but you do need clarification or repetition. Here's what you say. The first thing, if you understood every word, but you simply just need something repeated, then you say, I didn't catch that. Can you go over that last part? And if I didn't catch that means for whatever reason, I didn't hear what you said. So I didn't catch that. Can you go over that last part? Or even just, do you mind going over that last part for me? And it just means repeat it. They're going to repeat something that they just said. So if you understood every word, you need repetition. Maybe the audio was choppy. Maybe you were distracted. Maybe a message came in, or you think you know what they said. You need to confirm you know what they said. This is what you said. Can you go over that one more time? Sorry, can you run that by me again? I missed that last sentence. Can you repeat that? And this is fantastic. People have no problem repeating things. This is for repetition. Now, because English is your second language and you're having a meeting, a video call in English, sometimes you don't understand all the words. So asking for repetition will not help you. It will not help you. So just to clarify, are we saying, and then you're going to paraphrase what you thought they just said. So if they used the words you didn't know, you can say, just to clarify, are we saying, and then you paraphrase what you think they said. And they'll go, oh, no, close, but we're looking at this. And then they will clarify what they said using different words. They'll paraphrase. So they won't repeat what they said before. You have your paraphrase, they'll paraphrase again. So you'll have a lot of vocabulary to help you fine tune and understand your understanding of what they're saying. Next one, you can say, would you mind walking me through that again? So to walk someone through something is you're going to describe or explain something in detail. So if someone's talking about working, maybe an acquisition that the company wants to do, and they're talking about some quite technical terms or some jargon that you just don't know these words or some advanced English, would you mind walking me through that again? Now, if you want someone to walk you through something, this means they're going to explain what they previously explained in detail and go into depth on every single detail. So you're going to get a long, detailed explanation on something. So if you say, walk me through that again, beware, this is going to be a very long explanation. So you only say, walk me through that when you do need a lot more detail on something. Otherwise, just say, just clarifying, are we saying that? And you throw in your paraphrase and they'll correct it or they'll confirm that you understood correctly. But to walk someone through something again, this is going to go into quite a deep description. Or just to make sure we're on the same page, is this what you're saying? And again, this is like a paraphrase, but to make sure we're on the same page, this just means we have an agreement on something. A couple of other options here would be, can I double check I've understood correctly? And then say what you've heard. Or, sorry, what do you mean by this? Or, quick question, what do you mean by this? So if you caught the word that they said, but you just don't know what it means. Sorry, what do you mean by this? And sorry there is not an apology. It just means pardon or excuse me. So sorry, what did you mean by this? And that's fantastic. Then they'll explain that one word for you in depth. And don't worry about it. No one really cares if you don't know a word in English. It's perfectly fine. Or can you explain that in a bit more detail for me? If you say in a bit more detail, it's not walkthrough. Again, walkthrough is a deep, deep description of something. Can you explain that in a bit more detail? They're just going to go on each point with a little bit more detail. Okay, so you're in a video call or you're in an interview and you need to buy time to think. So I was once teaching a student and we had a video call and I asked her a question and she froze. Her face didn't move. She said nothing. And it was uncomfortable for me. And then I thought, okay, maybe her video is frozen. Or, when someone's internet kicks out, it's all frozen. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, Maria, are you there? And she's like, I'm just thinking. I was like, oh, that was awkward. So I don't know what it's like in your culture, but in English, if you need to think, you need to say to someone that you're thinking. You can't just think and stare. It's so uncomfortable for the other person watching the video or who's in the video call with you. So you really, if you're thinking, tell people you're thinking so they know. You can't just, what are some of your best moments in your last career? And I asked that question and someone asked that question to me and then That's my thinking face. I mean, literally, it's so uncomfortable. So don't do that to the people who you're on a video call with. If you need time to think, you need to say something. So, oh, great question. Give me a second to think. Uh, that's an interesting question. I've never thought of that before. Give me a second to compose my thoughts. So now I know if you do freeze and you're not saying something, or you're looking straight at me and there's no movement in your face, you're thinking. Tell people you're thinking. It's incredibly important. Otherwise, it's just so incredibly awkward. If you don't know the word awkward, it means uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable, especially in person, it's uncomfortable. But in a video call, we don't know if your internet has dropped out or if your video is frozen or if you're completely cut off. This has happened to me quite a few times, and not every culture knows this. So if you're having a video call in English, tell someone you're thinking. So a really good one would be, oh, great question. Give me a second to gather my thoughts. Oh, I'm not so sure about that. I just need a moment to gather my thoughts. I haven't thought about that for a while. Just give me a second while I pull up the answers for you. So if you do need to pull up some data or some information for someone, tell them, oh, that's interesting. Give me a second. I'll pull up the data for you. If you don't tell someone that, I can say, what were the sales numbers last month? If I ask someone that, and then they don't respond, they lean forward and start typing on the computer. I'm thinking, are they sending a message to someone else? Are they pulling up the sales figures? Are they sending me a message saying they can't hear me? I don't know what's happening. So it's a video call. I have no idea what's happening. Tell people what's happening. Oh, just give me a second while I pull that up for you. Now, if someone does put you on the spot, put someone on the spot means they ask you a question and you really do need a lot more time to compose and come together with an answer. You can say, let me take a moment and I'll come back to you. So if you say, give me a second to think, give me a moment while I compose my thoughts, that's not too long. But if you say, I'll come back to you, it means maybe I'll come back to you later in the meeting. Maybe I'll come back to you in a minute within this meeting. Maybe I'll come back to you in 30 seconds. Maybe I'll come back to you in an email after the meeting. So I'll come back to you means I'm probably not going to answer this right now. So this gives you a lot of time if you do need to respond. And more often than not, you won't be responding in that same meeting. Or another way you can also appreciate that they asked a great question. Oh, that's a good one. Let me think. That's a good one. Meaning your question challenged me. That's a good one. Let me think. And that's fantastic. If you want to be a little bit more formal and you need more time to respond, again, acknowledge the fact that someone did ask you a challenging question. And challenging means it's difficult, but you like that difficulty. So that's a great question. Give me a second to just compose my thoughts on that. Or if you cannot respond within that meeting at that time, that's a great question. And you're saying that your question has value. I don't want to respond too quickly. So I'll get back to you on that. And I'll get back to you on that. Or can I get back to you on that? Or let me get back to you on that means I will respond later. And it's probably not going to be in the meeting. It's probably going to be after the meeting. And you obviously need to compose your thoughts. You need to look up information and to go a bit further into that. Okay, next one here is managing the meeting flow. So if you are chairing, again, chairing means leading a meeting. If you're leading the meeting, you need to manage flow. Sometimes conversation can go too long on one topic. Sometimes people can veer off topic. And you have an agenda, you have a set amount of time, you have a set amount of things you need to get through and people that need to speak. So you do need to manage that meeting flow. Here's what you can say if you find the meeting is kind of going off direction or the time is going to be overspent there. So one good thing you can say is, let's try to stay on track. So if you're talking about Q3 and someone brings in their forecast for Q4, let's try to stay on track, which is, great topic. Thank you so much for bringing that up. This meeting is to really discuss Q3. So let's try to stay on track. And people will know by let's try to stay on track, meaning your topic is off topic. This is not what this meeting's for. So that's perfect. Let's try to stay on track. It's quite neutral and direct. Let's try to stay on track. If you want to soften it a little bit, you can say, thank you for bringing that up. Let's bring it back to the main topic. We don't have a lot of time today. So thanks for bringing that up. Let's bring it back to the main topic just so we make sure we get everything done today. Or let's try to focus on the agenda, which means we have an agenda for this meeting. Let's try to focus on anything off agenda. It's really going to take up more time and nobody needs more meetings in their life. And another thing you can say is, let's not try to get too far off track. Let's keep it on track, or let's get back on track. Track, if you don't know track, we use this word so much in business English. So if you're on track, you're like a train on a track going to the station. If you get off track, you're going in the wrong direction towards your goal. We need to get back on track, which means to be on that track to get to your station. And once you're on track, you need to stay on track. So you can say, let's stay on track, people. So someone asks a question that's a little bit far, let's stay on track. If someone asks a question that's a little bit far, people joined into that. So they've gone to a different direction. Let's get back on track. Okay, now we're on track. Let's go on to the next agenda item. So you can use track in quite a few different ways here. It's a beautiful word for business English, very common. And again, you can be a little bit more polite there, saying, quick reminder, we're here to discuss this and the topic of the discussion, which is very nice. A couple things that are a little bit more pushy, but still polite is we're on a tight timeline. Let's make sure we keep it to this topic, or let's move forward so we don't run out of time. So if you do need to be quite strict with people, say it's about time, and we want to make sure we don't go over. Let's go back to this. Thanks for bringing that up. Let's move back to this. We're on a short timeline. We don't have a lot of time. There's only 10 minutes late. We can't get to that now. Thanks for bringing it up. If one topic is being discussed for too long, so you have an agenda item and one topic can be discussed for too long, sometimes it's important. So, but you can say, listen, this is great. Let's park this for now and we'll come back to it in another meeting, because this meeting is for all these items. So park something is just like parking your car at a store. You're going to leave it there, go do what you need to do, and you come back and pick up your car. Same thing to park a topic. So you're discussing a topic, and if someone's going on to, if people are discussing it too much, you can recognize that, okay, this is going too far. We have more things to go through, which you could just say, let's move on to the next item. Thanks everyone for your input. Let's move on to the next item. Everyone's going to zip it, shut up, and on to the next item. Or it seems we need to discuss this a bit more. We need to dive deeper in this. This is great. Let's park this for now, and I'll arrange a special meeting to go deeper into this, or we'll discuss this at a later time. So depending on if this topic needs to be discussed, you can say that with the words that you choose to say. Otherwise, we could say, we don't want to keep going on this. Let's move on. Or, you know what, should we keep going with this, or should we move on to the next item? And this means when people are talking and some really important conversations are happening on one part of the agenda, but you do have other items to get through and the time is ticking away and there's some pressure, you can ask people, do we want to keep going with this or move on? Because if you want to keep going with something, if this is a really fruitful means you get a lot out of something. This is a very fruitful conversation. Well, you don't want to stop it for the sake of an agenda. If you ask people, should we keep going with this or should we move on? And if we keep going with this, then you take those remaining agenda items, pop them in your next meeting. Or if you do need to get through the agenda, then let's park this right now and we'll go through the agenda and we'll come back to this at a later date. So that's very nice. Quite formal ways to say is, let's move on to the next point of the agenda. You're just kind of going directly. Everyone's talking about certain things. Great, thank you everyone. Let's move on to the next point of the agenda. Even if people weren't done, but you are going to be very firm in your management of the time of that meeting. Or let's table this for now and move on to the next item. Table something means you're going to delay talking about something. You're going to take it out of the discussion and then you're going to bring it up another time, or like park it to table something. And I think we've covered key points on this topic. Let's move on to the next one. So you're acknowledging that we spoke about one topic, one part of the agenda in enough detail. I think we've covered some key points here. Let's move on. Should we move on? Shall we move on? Shall is kind of a formal word in business English, but when you're asking someone's opinion, it's perfectly fine in neutral and you can use it anywhere. Shall we sit here? Shall we sit outside? Shall we call the client? So shall we move on is perfect here. So sometimes a topic comes up, or a thought comes up, or a question comes up that's incredibly important, but it's just not relevant to the meeting, or there's not enough time to talk about it in the meeting. So if someone brings something up and you really do value their input and value their thoughts and their idea, if you just say, let's circle back to that later, you're kind of shutting them down, and they may or may not be open to share with the team or with you in the future because they kind of feel shut down. So really acknowledge the fact that you appreciate if their input is valuable. Say, that's a great point you made there, Mike. Let's circle back to that later. We don't have time right now. So at least Mike goes, oh, okay, they value my input, because truly if we're too abrupt with people in English, people will kind of shut down and maybe they will not be so open to getting involved and participating in the meeting. So that's pretty important. Or again, that's an interesting point. Thank you for bringing that up. That's definitely an important topic. That's something that's really important for us to consider. All these different options. Let's park that for now, but we will come back to it. So again, you're giving value to their input, what they've said, and you'll say, well, we'll come back to it later. We just don't have time at the moment. So these are nice ways to say it. If you want to be a little bit more formal and professional there, good point. We'll add that to the follow-up list. Okay, so we'll add that to the follow-up list, or let's flag that as a follow-up item. And flag just means to mark it as a follow-up item. So that's a nice way and very kind of very business language to say, let's flag that as a follow-up item. Meaning, this is important. Thank you for bringing it, and we will come back to it. Now, another section that comes up here when it comes to managing the meeting flow and the timing is reminding people of the time. Sometimes people can get so excited about their time to talk, about their time to speak about their work, their department, what they're working on. They can forget time. I mean, you're meeting online. We all have clocks on our computer. We know what time it is, but some people are just not aware of how much time is ticking by or how much time is needed for each agenda item. So reminding people of time, it's totally fine to say, okay, just a reminder, everyone, we only have 7 minutes left, or we've got 10 minutes remaining of this meeting. Let's move on. So just a quick reminder is very nice for people, or just a quick time check. We have about 5 minutes left, so let's move on to the next one. Any last questions? We're coming up on time. Coming up on time means we're coming up on the end time of the meeting. We're coming up on time and we still haven't heard from logistics. Logistics, can you chime in? Chime in means enter the conversation. So logistics, can you chime in because we're coming up on time, or this is almost the end of our time. And any further items you guys have here, please, flag them for a follow-up meeting. We don't have time to go deep into any additional items that are off our agenda. If you want to keep things more direct, just you can even say to people, okay, we're gonna go through a couple of agenda items. Please keep your responses short. We're pretty low on time, and that's nice. That means people know that they can definitely give their input. They can give their 2 cents. 2 cents means your opinion on something, but you've been asked, is the people talking, to keep it short. So by saying, okay, we're tight on the schedule today, we don't have a lot of time, let's keep responses short today. We're low on time, which just means people, when they do want to speak up or say something, most people, I mean, not everyone follows what they're told to do, but most people will keep their responses or their input short. Or let's move quickly so we can cover everything. So if you find some people are going, well, maybe, well, I'm not so sure, well, it could be, and people are having a hard time finding their words, let's move quickly so we can cover everything. So it seems like you had a great point you wanted to bring up there, Sam, but let's move on so we make sure we cover all the topics. So if someone is hesitating, they're having difficulty finding their words, help them out a little bit. Just say, it seems like you had something really important to say. If they're kind of not getting their words out, be kind and just say, it seems like you had something really important you wanted to share there, Sam. We'll flag it for the next, or just send me a message and we'll follow up with it and add it to the next agenda. Okay, last part is wrapping up the video call. Wrapping up the video call, you can't just say, okay, we're out of time, bye. No, you can't. So first thing you can say is you can appreciate that everyone has made time for this meeting and that you've shared all the input and information that you need to. So you could say, I think that's all from my end, or that's all from my end, or great discussion, everyone. Thanks for everyone's input today. Thank you, everyone, for making time for this meeting. I really appreciate it. Great to see you all again. Great to see some old and new faces. I'll send a follow-up after. Really appreciate everyone making time today, and thank you so much for your collaboration or your input. There's so many great things you can say. Really, when you have any kind of meeting, I mean, this could be an interview or a video call or just a regular team meeting, you really want to end on a high note. And you can't just say, bye, everyone, we're out of time. No, you really want to say, great discussion. Thanks so much for your input. People will leave the meeting feeling good. No one has time for meetings. No one has time for the amount of meetings that we get put in our schedule. So at the very end, just appreciating people for their input and for their time really does make a difference. And people like to hear those things. So, and if you are talking from your side, from your department, okay, I think everything's good from my side. I think we've covered everything for today. I think I've covered everything I needed to. Anyone else want to chime in? Again, chime in means join the conversation, or there's nothing else to add on my end. Does anyone else have anything else they need to add? We're out of time, but before we wrap up, does anyone have any final questions or comments? And that's a really nice one. Before we wrap up, if you do have maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, does anyone have any final questions? And if they don't, great, you finished 2 minutes early or 5 minutes early. And if they do, at least they had time there. A little bit more formal would be, I'll send out the action items after the call or by the end of day, or I'll follow up with a summary in the following email, or all those points that we flagged, we will circle back to the next meeting. Another thing to do, if your meeting or your video call was an action-based, so plan-based, then at the end, you kind of want to do a recap. So if your recap is going to be in a summary or in the minutes or in follow-up notes, great. But it's also nice to go, well, let's do a quick recap of action items before we sign off. And okay, Bob's doing this, Jane's going to work on this, Terry's going to work on this. You're kind of making sure you kind of, if you have time, if time allows, you kind of wrap up with a recap of who's doing what or action items from the meeting. This is quite important. You do this in your summary anyway, but sometimes it's nice if time allows to do this at the end of a meeting. And again, being friendly, being professional. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate your time today. Thanks for the great discussion. Everything was really, really helpful. We're making great progress on this. And then just saying goodbye. Thanks again. Take care, everyone. Talk soon. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Catch you all next time. Catch you all next time means it is a reoccurring meeting. It doesn't have to be every day or every week or every quarter, but the people you're meeting with, they tend to come together for different meetings or same meetings on a regular basis. So catch you all next time is quite nice. I mean, that's a little slang, but I mean, if you're close to your colleagues, you can definitely say this. And again, quite professional would be thanks again, speak soon. And speak soon doesn't really sound formal, but it is quite formal English. Thanks again, speak soon. Or again, thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks everyone. I'll be in touch. We'll be in touch. Thanks everyone. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. You want to appreciate people for their time and for their input. It just makes people feel good about being present. They were there. Okay, we did it. We've gone through a video call masterclass. Hopefully I've given you guys a lot of great tools so you feel more confident going into your next English video call, and you have lots of phrases for different situations, and you'll feel more prepared and ready to put your best foot forward in business English. As promised, I will put a PDF pinned to the top of the comments of this video with most of the phrases and the advice that I've given you in this video. Thank you so much for joining me. If you did find this masterclass helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments other big areas of business English you'd like me to dive into, and I'll be happy to make that masterclass for you guys. Thank you so much.